Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 302 for the week of March 21st, 2017. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Toby.
And Charlie.
Toby, is your mic on?
Yes.
Is it? Oh, I can hear you now. You're sick still.
Yeah.
A little bit. You're always sick. We have some loud neighbors.
No, you're always sick.
I'm sick like
when
the
he's
kids.
sick, you just do not come in.
I'm sick.
No, not that kind of sick.
Oh, okay.
Do not ever do that again. That look weird.
Yeah. Sick like the flu. Wait, what? No, what am I saying? So we have some loud neighbors. If you hear loud Korean people screaming and blending something,
laughing.
I don't know. Charlie, you said someone was blending something earlier.
It sounded like somebody was blending something.
I was here. It sounded like blenders.
Okay, well, if you hear loud Korean blending, that's not us. So sorry.
We have new neighbors.
We recorded Geekbox the other day, last night, remotely, and Alice's cat interrupted the first half of the podcast. Now we have new Asian neighbors who are going to interrupt this podcast. She meowed a bunch.
Oh,
so yeah. You know, whatever. We're here. We're actually recording here in the store today. So we got a couple of random things to talk about, a lot of questions. We're going to talk a lot about Iron Fist, at least some of it, in the middle kind of part of this episode. So if you've not seen any Iron Fist and you don't want to be spoiled, you might want to skip that part when we get to it. And I know Toby has a lot to say about Iron Fist.
I do?
I think you do. It sounded
Really?
like you do.
Oh, okay.
I think he just hypes it up because he's
just watching basketball. He doesn't even care about.
he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care about
The
Iron
Warriors
Fist
are
now.
playing right now.
Now that Iron Fist is over, he can ignore it because he already finished watching it. Let's talk about Dark Days. Do you guys know Dark Days?
Yeah.
I saw a
Movie poster
little bit
came out.
about it.
Movie,
Poster came out.
not the movie Dark Days.
Yes.
What's Dark Days?
The movie poster came out.
What?
Yeah.
Explain.
What do you mean explain?
There's a DC Universe event coming up called Dark Days.
Oh, wait. What's the Western called?
Western.
Talking about Dark Tower?
Oh, yeah. The
Dark
movie
Tower.
poster for that came out.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Dark Tower.
Oh.
That's nerd stuff.
Going back to
not
basketball.
geek stuff. Yeah, no, we're talking about Dark Days. Well, okay, Dark Tower. Yeah, it's an upside down. It's an upside down
Yeah.
city, just like
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, and just like Doctor Strange, and just like Inception, and just
Inception, yeah.
and just like what was that other thing I just saw?
Doctor
that had
Strange.
That something else I just watched has like an upside down city. It was the beginning of it was Outcast. Yeah, Outcast is like the upside down city. Yeah, everyone loves their upside down cities recently. No. We're talking about Dark Days. This is the upcoming Scott Snyder, James Tynion, Tynion. I can never pronounce his name right. I don't think.
Just ask Google.
Tynion. Tynion. I believe it's Tynion. Jim Lee, Adam Kubert, and John Romita Jr. There are two Dark Day one-shots, The Forge and The Casting. We don't really have a full story synopsis yet, but this is the kind of the beginning to what's probably going to be DC's bigger summer crossover. It will, according to Comic Book Resources, reveal the dark underbelly of the DC universe and lead to an as-yet unspecified DCU event. For people that are fans of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, there was talk of there being a new event that they were going to be working on together. That's probably what this is.
Yeah.
We don't know 100% for sure.
I'm super excited, except for when you said John Romita Jr. But,
Yeah, I mean,
couldn't cut those Suicide Squad numbers fast enough.
you just have to assume that he's going to be a part of a lot of DC stuff going forward. There are issues where he works on that I think are all right, but then there's times where it's just like, it's rough.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to you recently about the old Daredevil stuff he did. Those look amazing.
Yeah. You were looking at the
Typhoon Mary stuff.
yeah, the new one of the new Epic collections.
Yeah, but that's I love that run, dude. That was an excellent run,
his
and
Thor
I didn't mind him at all there.
His Thor stuff.
Oh, Uncanny
in the
X-Men,
late 90s
Thor
was really good.
Yep. His current work is just not up to the standard that I think a lot of kind of the Marvel and DC fans want from their art. But what are you gonna do? But Jim Lee's in there. That's good. Andy Kubert's in there. That's good. Yeah, I'll be curious what this is going to lead up to. We don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that Greg Capullo arc. So we'll find out more about that soon. Let's see. There wasn't a ton of like news. Iron Fist was kind of the big topic this week. So, but I did want to briefly talk about Dan Slott, everyone's favorite Spider-Man writer, the only Spider-Man writer in the last 10 years.
It's like Spider-Man is like the writer on Spider-Man is like the Amanda Conner and Justin Palmiotti with Harley Quinn. It's like
it's just not,
we want something new.
yeah. I know. I mean,
it works kind of, but we want something new.
Dan Slott's
they're doing the Dini backup soon.
But it's just a backup. Though.
I don't care. I'll take half Dini Harley Quinn any day.
Yeah. The fact that Paul Dini is going to be working on Harley again in her old costume too is awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
speaking of which, I need to get on that book when that starts.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Well, if you're a fan of Dan Slott's, or even if you're not a fan, you know one thing about Dan Slott, and that is that he's not. Well, I don't know that he's not a fan, but he's definitely not bringing back the marriage between Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson. This is not going to happen. People ask him to happen. People ask him to do it all the time. They say it's going to happen. They say once he's off the books, it's going to happen. This is directly from Dan Slott. This is a post on Comic Book Resources, and he basically reiterates the same thing over and over and over again. But one of his first posts was, "I believe all you want. It ain't happening. I've told people this for 9 years." He's talking about what is it? Renew Your Vows. That they're doing that alternate reality series, Renew Your Vows. That's as good as you're going to get. Every single editorial team since the marriage worked hard to undo it. You will not see the marriage restored in the core continuity ever. It's far more likely that you'd see a line-wide reboot that resets Spider-Man to high school years than the marriage being restored. And that is never going to happen either. So this does not come from Dan Slott, according to Dan Slott. This comes from Marvel, and not even Alex Alonso or the current, or Tom Brevoort. This comes from the head, the interdimensional being known as Marvel Comics has reached through the ether and said,
"Well, my question is,
you cannot marry Peter Parker."
Who's currently married in the Marvel universe?
Well, they kind of pulled a bit of a DC, huh?
Yeah,
and
it feels like it's like.
I mean, Sue and Reed are gone.
Yeah, Sue and Reed are gone.
In theory, they're still married, though.
Well, they don't exist anymore, right?
That's how they can keep their marriage. If they existed.
If they existed in the Marvel universe, it wouldn't be married.
Deadpool's getting married. Does that count?
Isn't he getting divorced?
Or is that what it is? Is he getting divorced?
He was already married.
He already got married. You're right.
Is anybody married? Because Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are separated.
Yeah, but reading that book, it's sort of unclear how that's.
You haven't read the latest issue, have you?
Not the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, because to date, they haven't said how that really happened. They're just randomly not together.
Well, no, she went to jail.
Right, but they haven't really
explained.
explained.
But they explained why she went to jail, but he doesn't know why she went to jail. And
except for that
drama.
Alt Renew Your Vows thing. I mean, because none of the X-Men are married, are they?
I mean, no. Cyclops and Jean Grey are dead.
Well,
Northstar is still married.
Is Northstar still married too?
I think so.
Yeah, they haven't shown Northstar in a while. I feel like I haven't seen him in anything.
He even married, I forgot. But he's still married, I think.
Yeah, he married that dude, but I don't remember that guy's name.
Well, I should turn on the mic.
Yeah, there you go. I don't remember that guy's name.
I honestly think they're pulling a DC.
Well, right when DC, flips back Superman and Aquaman's getting they're in a very long courtship right now. Yeah. I don't know. Green Arrow, Black Canary, they're not married.
But they're back together.
They're back together. Yeah, there are a lot of couples in the DC universe right now. Very few in the Marvel universe. Yeah, yeah. If there are any married couples in the Marvel universe, I don't know. I don't have a single clue.
Yeah.
Black Panther's not married. He was the Storm, but that's over.
Yeah, that's long over.
Yeah, they never remarried him. Wow.
Kitty and Star-Lord?
They never got married.
Wow. They broke up too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Lame.
Scarlet Witch and Vision. No, Vision was married.
Yeah.
Was.
Not to Scarlet Witch.
Nope.
Was it Tom King killed marriages in the Marvel universe?
The only one, I guess.
That's really weird.
Venom's married to Eddie Brock. Kind of.
Growing up, I always remember the big wedding issues and just how big a deal they'd make over those issues. And now it's just
But even in DC, there's not many. Superman and Lois, but Everyone else is in various forms of relationships.
Well, I mean, Barry and Iris are starting out again.
Yeah, Nightwing's going out with that Defacer, that chick.
It's wrong. Oracle for life.
Babs is like 7 now, so
No.
they can't have that.
Wheelchair Oracle.
Bumblebee has her man.
Oh, yeah, they're married, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Bumblebee and... Oh, God, he's an old school Titans guy, and I'm blanking on his name now.
If you grab issue 9,
Yeah.
I'll tell you.
They might be married.
Yeah.
That might be it. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, well, we can move on from this. Anyway, if you love
Here's
marriage...
the thing, though. I mean, for story reasons, it's easier if none of them actually is locked down.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
then
yeah.
you have other options down the line, right?
Oh, well, I think Superman makes...
Because how
Yeah,
many times can you
but-
divorce Spider-Man and Mary Jane and put them back together?
Right. I mean, it makes sense for Superman. I feel like that was one that was so long
Yeah.
coming, but...
I don't know. I understand the whole idea of it limits certain stories they can do with characters, but
But it opens up other stories that you
Yeah.
can do with the characters, and I think that's
well, I think the biggest problem is the fact that they're very, very cautious about how much they change the status quo. If they were really willing to shake up the status quo a little bit more and really let time progress, it would probably work. But I kind of understand why they're like, all we can really do when they're married is have them fight and separate for a little while and then get back together, because they're not really willing to do anything else with that story.
well, it was Wally West and
Linda?
Linda were. I mean,
They were married.
They were married. They had kids.
They had the kids, yeah,
they
but
did
that's
the
all gone now.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is I think it limits. Yes, you close off one avenue of stories that you can tell, but it does open up other stories that you can tell, and it's not just necessarily
The problem is you have to be willing to tell those stories, and I don't think the big two are willing to tell those stories.
Well, if they just let Tomasi do it, I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, he does a great job with it.
Yeah.
Frankenstein's not even married anymore.
No,
Man.
that relationship is bitter. That's like
Yeah, Frankenstein and...
that is just like every single time they're together, they want to kill each other.
Yeah. What do they actually call her? It's not...
Is it-
Well, they just call her Bride, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Bride.
yeah, I don't think she has like a different name. Oh well, what are you gonna do? That's kind of it for the big. There wasn't a lot of comic news this week. We're pretty light, but we're going to talk about Iron Fist here for a little bit. We got a bunch of questions. We always have a ton of questions here, so we'll get to those and get through this episode. We'll make it through. Toby, you've watched all of Iron Fist.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. You had homework. You're supposed to do 9 episodes since...
in one day.
Yeah, when you posted that post.
Okay, well, I
The
couldn't.
internal podcast post. I gave you homework.
I've watched
Ryan
the
Higgins.
first 4.
I do your homework. You're supposed to do mine.
I cannot
It's
watch.
only 9 episodes.
I
You're
cannot.
here all day long. What's your excuse? Be a man.
Working.
Be a nerd man.
I'm not Charlie. I can't do 9 things at the same time.
Yes, you can.
I can't podcast
You got to
and play.
believe in yourself.
I can't podcast and play Puzzle Quest Fighter at the same time.
Or watch
You
basketball.
just haven't got enough practice.
So I've seen 4 episodes. Brock, you haven't. You're
I haven't
not,
even watched
you're not on the
Jessica
Netflix
Jones.
stuff. I watched the first 4. Charlie, you watched the first 6.
Yep.
And Toby, you marathoned. You watched them all.
Yeah.
Do you
How many
remember it
total?
all? Did you fall asleep
Is it
during half of
13?
it, or?
I only fell asleep after 10 minutes on the second episode.
Okay.
And I rewatched the second episode.
Okay.
It's 13, right, Toby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all are.
So, we talked about it last week of the not so hot reviews this thing was getting, and I was pretty stoked for it. I figured, well, I mean, it's Iron Fist. How bad could it be? Maybe it's cheesy.
Speaking of the not so stellar reviews, remember how you were lecturing me on how what I said is totally wrong, that the John Carter effect is totally not going to happen, that people just going to see it on Netflix and press play and watch it?
Okay.
Remember that part?
Sure.
Everybody in my office that have watched all the other shows, none of them have watched the show.
Okay.
And every single one had told me the same thing. Oh, I heard it sucks.
The reviews.
Yeah, same straight answer. They just,
Yeah.
I was like, I knew it. I knew this. The John Carter effect is in full effect. I had texts from my friends today, after the weekend, that go, hey, I heard Iron Fist really sucks. What happened? I'm like, have you watched it? No, I'm not gonna. I'm like, it happened. This whole bad review thing, actually, the John Carter effect is in full effect here.
There is no doubt that bad reviews are going to turn some people off.
Yeah.
But I
well, I'm
feel
talking
like,
about the normals. I mean,
Oh, I
all of
know.
us are gonna watch it no matter what.
of course.
Yeah, but like all the normals in my office, none of them, no inkling, none of interest in one bit. They're all like, nope, I heard it sucks. I'm not gonna even bother.
Okay. Well, I'm sure it will still do very well. I mean, it may be a case where not a lot of people finish it. Those first 2 episodes may get all the rating or all the
Well, I don't think a lot of people. Again, not talking about our kind of people. I'm saying the normals. A lot of normals, I don't think finished Alias. Jessica Jones or Luke Cage.
Yeah.
They all started it, but
Yeah.
I don't think they finished either of those two.
Well, there was.
And with Iron Fist, I don't think they're starting. Again, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the normals.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's tough because Netflix doesn't release numbers.
Yeah,
Marvel doesn't
it's
release
hard
numbers.
to tell. Yeah.
But I don't doubt that bad reviews turn some people off. But I think a lot of people are still going to watch these.
Of course,
things.
no,
Yeah.
no, I'm not saying. Everything is not certain. I'm generalizing, of course.
Sure. I mean, because everyone that turned on Netflix this weekend, Iron Fist was the thing on their screen when
Yeah.
they turned it on.
Yeah.
That hits hundreds of millions of eyes. And a good, and even when I looked at it, the rating was like 4 stars and a sliver of white at the very end of
Yeah.
that 5th star.
Yeah.
So it has,
And I think the user ratings on Rotten Tomato went up too.
Did
I think it's like 80 or 70 something.
Yeah.
If what I read on the internet is correct, which is never always correct. So.
Well, let's actually talk about at least the first handful of episodes that I got to see, and you guys can give some vague talk. I don't want full spoilers for myself, but you guys can talk about the remainder of the season. I went in. I'll give you my impression. I went in, and I was still pretty excited. I had not the highest hopes, obviously, because of the reviews, but I had some decent, decently high hopes. And I figured by the end of the first episode, I'm like, all right, that was goofy, that was weird. There wasn't any action. Okay, they kind of got the explanation out of the way. Let's move on to the real plot here. And the next 3 episodes did nothing to improve my my feelings on that episode past the first one. It's not awful. I don't think it's bad, but it does break for me that one cardinal sin.
Don't be boring.
Don't be boring. And it's dull. And it's not dull the way Luke Cage was dull in the back half. To me, Luke Cage had such a solid start that I think that because the back half was not as good, it does really suffer. I feel like
Luke Cage has
they front-loaded Cage.
Yeah. And then you have all the good characters in the beginning.
Yeah.
And no spoilers, some of them don't make it to the end. And
Right.
that hurt. Not just the villains, but also some of the good guys.
Right.
That I felt like should probably been sticking through the show. And I think I hurt the show a little bit. But Luke Cage has its vibe to the show, so to speak, all the way to the end.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think with Iron Fist, and I'll give some loose setup here. So, Danny Rand, son of Mr. Rand, I forget the dad's name, comes back 15 years, lost after a plane crash. It's very much the Arrow origin, right? If you watched Arrow, it's pretty much the same origin. To find out that his former best frenemy and his sister have
Not Danny's sister, but
the friend sister have taken over the Rand Corporation, is his parents' corporation, because the 2 families had co-owned this multi-billion-dollar this multi-billion-dollar industry, and now the children have taken it over. None of them believe that he's really Danny Rand, and while it was okay I was like, all right, but they just kind of keep. He's like, oh, I'm Danny Rand. I'm Danny Rand. It's like, yeah, okay, well, you can. They don't believe you. You should try a different way to explain this to them. Like he just kept trying to tell them what was going on. Did anyone else get a Donald Trump Jr. vibe off of the friend? If there was he's got that perfect slick back hair, it's like the.
Is this the guy that's
friend?
pictures popping
Ward?
up all over Twitter?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Okay.
The one that's on the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen it. I keep seeing that picture over and over again. Yeah. I
No,
think,
you scroll through, you're like, why the hell
Like
is
Donald Trump
Trump's
as in
son?
the Trump man or his kid?
no, his kid.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I can
It
see
looks
that.
like his kid and his daughter. It looks like his son and his daughter.
Yeah, I can see
that sort of
Yeah. No, I could see that.
corporate corporate kid.
Actually, no, I could totally see that.
Yeah, right. That's why whenever I saw it, that's what I kept thinking.
Yeah, no.
That never leaped out to me, but I could
Now that
totally
you
see
say
the
it,
comparison.
I'm like,
Yeah.
You've just ruined the end half of this show for Charlie.
So we find out as we go along that Danny Rand was found by monks and did learn the various martial artists, various martial arts. They gave him the power of the Iron Fist. Not too dissimilar from the comic book, but at least in the first 4 episodes, he's put in an insane asylum, forcefully put in an insane asylum.
Spoilers, not for you, but just in general.
Sure.
Most of the Iron Fist that I have read suggest that his dad took him on a trip to the mountains looking for the city. Like, that's the origin that I'm more familiar with.
And then he's separated from his parents.
Yeah, during like an avalanche, his parents are gone. He
Yeah,
finds his way to the city.
Right.
Is that his actual origin, or was his original origin closer to this? I'm just curious.
I don't
No,
remember.
I think it's closer to... Well, I shouldn't be talking because I probably read the least amount of Iron Fist here. But from what I can tell, it is the mountain trip.
Yeah, my knowledge
and
of
they
Iron
updated
Fist...
it with the new airplane crash thing.
Yeah, my knowledge of Iron Fist is more from the Brubaker, Matt Fraction, David Aja run. I haven't read too much like 70s and 80s Iron Fist.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's why I was curious, just because that's same runs that I read primarily, so I wasn't sure if that was slightly changed or not.
But I mean the general goes to gets found by these monks trained in the Iron Fist.
Doctor Strange makes an appearance.
Yes, not too dissimilar origin for something like Doctor Strange. But yeah, so the amount of combat within 4 episodes is almost non-existent. He uses the Iron Fist like 2 or 3 times, but for like these very minimal. Like, I mean, he's like, I gotta bust out of this insane asylum, so he Iron Fists the door, and like, okay, I guess that's cool, but
that was also kind of weird, just because, yes, it's very generally subjective, but that's not how I ever really pictured the fist working.
I mean, it's the power that he has, at least in the early part of the show, is just, it's almost like a weird force.
It seems like he can't really summon it on will.
Yeah.
Which is fine to me.
Which is okay.
So he's not a fully fleshed out Iron Fist just yet.
Right. Iron Fist begins.
Kinda.
But, so 4 episodes in, you figure that second episode in all the Marvel shows has been like the big episode, right? The big fight scene episode. They really want to grab people from the beginning. And there really was none of that in this. And Toby, I think
episode 6 is really the one.
Okay, so Charlie just saw that one.
You just saw that one, right? You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Which is oddly directed by the RZA, the Wu-Tang Clan guy.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. I thought, because I actually don't like his movies. I'll be honest here. I actually do not like his movies. He makes great soundtracks, but personally, I'm not a big fan of his movies. But oddly, because I looked it up, I'm like, I know he directed one of the episodes. And I remember after watching episode 6, I'm like, I think this is my favorite episode so far. And then later on, I went to look up who directed what. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he directed the one I liked. I was like, well, congrats.
That just says something bad about the rest of the episodes.
5 also had a good fight scene in it.
Yeah, well, good. We'll talk about the fight stuff in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys... Now, you've seen a little bit more, Charlie, and you've finished it, Toby. I mean...
Yeah, I think I'll go last.
So... Personally, from the show so far, I feel like it suffers from the same thing that Arrow and Flash did when they were trying to set up Legends of Tomorrow. Like, a lot of what they're doing in the show just kind of feels like they're setting up towards Defenders. It's not really setting up Iron Fist very well.
Yeah, that's almost like, when Rosario Dawson's Claire Temple shows up in the show, and no spoils because everybody knows she's going to be in the show. There is this inkling, she goes, I met these other superpowered people. I'm like, fucking call them on your cell phone. Let's get them here. Like, what the fuck is the problem? These are, one is in jail, but these other ones, I'm like, call them. It has that strange feel going, well, they already kind of linked and they already they don't know each other yet, but, there's the link in between. Just fucking pick up the phone and do a group text and let's get these guys together.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens.
Yeah.
The first episode of Defenders.
She is the Sam Jackson of the Netflix universe.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't talk about this, but yeah, the hand is kind of the ultimate big bad in this, which is a continuation from Daredevil season 2.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that's the big bad in the next one.
Right.
That's what it feels like. It feels like the way they left things with Daredevil, they're just going to prop up the hand a bit more in this.
Yeah.
And then lead into at least that's what it's feeling like to me currently, which is too bad because Daredevil really had time to shine when kind of fighting the hand.
Yeah.
So far, I'm not feeling like Danny Rand is really being given time to shine. They're just kind of propping up the bad guys more than the good guys in a way.
Well, 4 episodes in, he doesn't even know anything about the hand. He's
been taught to hate the hand.
Right, but he doesn't know anything about them. The hand has not interacted with him.
He hasn't even met the hand yet, unlike
No.
Daredevil.
Yeah. At least where I am on the show. So.
Yeah, no, there's a really cute scene between him and Claire Temple where she goes, wait a minute, I have more experience fighting the hand than the one that has trained his whole life to fight him. Yeah. Here's a question. In Daredevil, Madame Gao was part of the Chinese, triads, whatever you want to call them, bad guys.
Yeah.
She has never had anything to do with the hand, did she?
She did.
In the second season.
Yeah.
Did she? Okay, because this is where I got confused. I'm like, why the fuck is she, with the hand?
It does feel like they kind of retconned her to...
Yeah, and I was like, that doesn't seem right, because it felt like in the, the Japanese guy in Daredevil was part of the hand, which makes sense. And this is no spoiler since, these seasons have been long done. The Japanese guy seems to be immortal. And there's something familiar, and there's a character that kind of has something to do with that too in this show, which you put 2 and 2 together, and then you go, oh, now we know what they're doing to Elektra and Daredevil at the end. So there's
put her in like that cocoon thing, right?
Yeah, but now we kind of know what's happening out of that, because you have 2 guys that can't, stuff happen to.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I do feel like they kind of forced her into that. What's her, Madame Gao, right?
Yeah,
they sort of forced her into that hand position.
Yeah, and I felt really weird about it, because the hand are Japanese folks.
Yeah.
Like, why is Madame Gao I don't care if she knows him, hates him, has ties to him, or business ventures, team ups, whatever you want to call it, right?
But leading the hand.
But historically, she shouldn't be connected to them the way she is right now.
So you've seen more than I have, but in episode 6, they strongly indicate some reason, at least to me, they strongly indicated some reasons why she might be connected to the hand.
Okay. Well, we could talk about it afterwards, too.
You could even talk about it now. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
Because she talks about how she had been to the city of Kunlun and all that in the past.
Again, that has nothing to do... Well, I guess.
But the second you kind of go...
because Kunlun is still Chinese-related for the most part. I mean, so here's kind of my biggest gripe, or one of my 3 big gripes of the show. And I kind of assume this is how when doctors watch a medical show... Or when a fireman watches one of those fireman shows, or a cop watches one of these cop shows. Some of the stuff is just way off in this show. Like, Colleen Wing, right? What is she? No, tell me.
She's a very confused background.
Yeah, but tell me what she is. Is she Chinese?
I mean...
Is she Japanese?
She... In the comics, she's Japanese. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But... Colleen Wing is not a Japanese name in any way, shape, or form.
No.
In the show, she looks Chinese.
Well, she's half Sambanian English. But,
okay.
But my point is not even that.
But she speaks some Mandarin
and some Japanese. Which is very confusing. I mean, look, I'm all for a Japanese person could learn Chinese. Okay, I'm not fucking dumb. That is possible, right? A Japanese person could, instead of learning any Japanese martial arts, choose a Chinese one. Fine with me. We're in a free world at this point. People could choose their destiny, right? But from a story perspective, she comes off very Chinese in the show. The white dude keeps talking to her in fucking Mandarin, yet everything points to her past as Japanese.
Yeah.
And it's very fucking annoying. It's like, she's, teaching Bushido, and there's one line she goes, "Oh, I'm just a karate teacher." I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, no, these martial arts styles matter. I mean, sure, there's, in comic books, there's the guy that mastered all the martial arts. Whatever, fuck off, right? It's like, when you're a master in a specific thing, you take pride in that. And even further down the show, Claire Temple talks to his character, and he goes, "Oh, you guys all, study karate in your little fucking Kowloon city, right?" And he goes, "No, it's kung fu." So someone in the writing stuff does know it matters.
Well,
this is like, Colleen, she frustrates me so much in this show because she's whatever Asian Danny Rand needs her to be. Yeah. If he needs a Chinese person around, she's also kind of more Chinese, right? He needs like a more Japanese historical person, then she's almost like more Japanese. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, there's two problems, I think, with this. One, the problem is that you kind of get the feeling that maybe some of the things that people had said about the show is true, that maybe they are just a bunch of dumb white people that don't actually know what the hell they're talking about, and so they just kind of think, hey, all Asians the same. But
fuck them.
But the problem does
come. But at this day and age, though, can't you just hire one fucking Asian guy, the intern, and go, "Can you look at this and tell us?"
But that is the problem, right? Because, we in America...
And his Chinese is fucking horseshit.
We in America like to be all-inclusive about everything, right? But if there's two races, if there's two countries that hate each other and want nothing to do with each other and do not want to not want to integrate, it's China and Japan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, they have the giant wars against each other.
Right.
Here's my look.
So there is this. It's not racist to be like, oh, she's Chinese, but she knows Japanese and all that. It's like, no, it's very unlikely.
Again, you look in the modern world. Sure, it's possible, right? Growing up mixed. Yes, it's totally possible, right? But it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
And the other thing that bothers me, like, look. You could write it off all you want, but if you go, hey, that European guy, let's make him fucking Italian when he needs to be Italian, let's make him French when he's French. You wouldn't do that.
Right.
You wouldn't do that, right? As a American guy, you wouldn't do that, right? But so for some reason with Asian culture, it's okay to make them all Asians blend, be the same shit.
Yeah.
And it's very, very bothersome, right? Look, I had no problem with Danny Rand being white because I actually don't like, race bending or whatever one you call it, or, change sexes. I kind of enjoy what I grew up with to be on the screen. So I'm not one of those guys going, you probably should have changed his background, would have been cool. Maybe, if I was in charge, I probably would have cast it the way they cast it. If I started thinking about it, maybe I would have changed it. I honestly don't know, but my first instinct is to make him the way that he was.
Well, like I said, I mentioned in an earlier episode, I think you can do it by making him Asian American, but half white, half Asian, but you make him American, right? So I mean, it's like
or he could be an American Asian, right?
Yeah, both.
But but again, to me, like, I don't mind that he looks the same that he does in comic books. For a lot of people are crying foul right now. They should have cried foul in the fucking 70s, but it was a different time, right? So look, they're fighting a big battle that probably should have started a lot earlier than just at the show. I kind of went off on a weird tangent here. Coming back to the show, look, a lot of the Asian cultural things are really bothersome in the show because it seems like they didn't bother researching it, or they just didn't give a fuck, right? Which to an Asian guy coming in, it's like, and I'm not even fully Asian. I grew up with white folks, man. So it's coming in going like, seriously, the martial arts styles matter.
Yeah.
The cultural things matter. The languages matter. That's what I was going to say. Fucking Finn Jones' Chinese is like complete utter garbage. Like, for actors that train themselves to have multiple fucking dialects.
Yeah.
I don't care if you don't understand what he's saying, but tonally at least be in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
I was like, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Well, Scott Buck, the guy that wrote the handful of episodes, is a showrunner of this. He's also the guy that's going to be doing that upcoming Inhumans show. So, not the greatest start on this if he's going to be working on the Inhumans.
Yeah,
that's a little worrying. He butchered Dexter, so.
Oh, did he?
He did the last couple seasons of Dexter, which are not great.
Look,
I still have to watch the last season.
No, you really don't.
Look,
you really don't.
You take out the maybe like generalizing of Asian culture stuff.
Yeah.
And I have another other thing I really dislike.
Well, let's go to the action, right? The action.
Okay, fine. I was gonna do that later, but we could do that now. It's fucking horseshit. It is completely utter horseshit. I'm sorry. It is.
What you told me before I started watching it was you feel like the action, like they shot it at like half speed or something.
Well, no, it's not half speed. They didn't even bother speeding it up to mask it.
That's what I mean.
I'm like, if they suck, fucking, double it up a little bit. Mask it a little bit.
So in that first scene where you kind of see him, he goes against the guys that are in the office, right?
Yeah.
All the security guards, right?
I mean, there's some cool moves in there, like whatever, right? There's cool moves, but fuck,
look,
it sucks.
I can't do this stuff,
yeah,
right? But I've seen enough karate and action and kung fu and martial arts, in movies and TV shows to be like, hell, they kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel with Arrow quite a bit, and Arrow looks better than this.
Yeah, but Arrow is on its 6th season on a TV budget,
right?
Coming season after season.
The fact that Arrow is better, worries me.
Not to mention, a lot of times with Arrow, what he does is much more sort of street level. It's not supposed to be super polished or anything like that.
Yeah, well, he's a guy. I mean, look, let's be real here. Fucking what's his name? Iron Fist is a kung fu hero, right? Let's be honest here. This is sort of say a kung fu show, right? And the fact that he's not smooth about it really sucks, and that's not his fault.
Yeah.
Because supposedly, and again, I read this on the internet. Who knows if it's true? If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But supposedly they're taught, like, he trained before the show. But when he started shooting the show, they gave him like 15 minutes before the fight to teach him the shit. And that's all he had. I mean, that sucks. I mean, that's not his fault.
No.
And that's probably not the stunt team's fault either. This is like, crazy Hollywood schedules going, fucking make this show.
You can have him not actually know any of it, right? Other than the posing.
Yeah.
But you just throw a hoodie on him or something.
Yeah. I mean, look,
someone else do.
If you're able to sell Charlie Cox doing flips and beating the shit out of people, I'm sure they can sell this fucking dude to do the same, right? So look, I'm not judging it like just this show. I'm like, look, you've proven you can do it. Why can't you do it again, right? You hired the same team.
Right.
Maybe it's the time. Maybe they have a different I don't know. But it's not just him. Fucking Colleen sucks more. Like, it's beyond me how look, I feel bad because she probably trained really hard, and the stunt teams probably worked really hard to make everything look bad. I mean, look good. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, there's probably some truth to that. They probably did try very hard.
Yeah, but look, I feel really bad because it is a lot of work, and it's not easy to do these things, right? I just feel really bad because, growing up, and it sucks. I mean, I grew up with all these Jackie Chan movies and Jet Li movies. I'm like, these are masters. Like, I'm not trying to have him to beat those guys. He can't because they trained the entire life for it. But, they're hired for the lines, which is more important in this show because the lines carry the show as opposed to the action. I just hope they could have sold it a little better. It's, you could see the pauses. If you watch the background, stunt guys, you could see them, kind of pausing, waiting for the move to happen. All the little, things are there if you know what to look for. And it's, it's a little irksome. And the later episodes when you see him going against like real, trained people, you could see the camera kind of concentrating on the other person really fast. So, again, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just watch a lot of fucking kung fu movies.
It is good to be passionate about your opinion.
Yeah.
But that's, if the show is the Wild Dog show, I don't care if his karate isn't great, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that this is Iron Fist, that should be the number one thing
they should literally be looking at, right? So I don't know.
I almost don't care if the actor is not great if the action is top notch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, the show's whatever, but the action is incredible.
Have you guys watched Into the Badlands?
Oh yeah, I was just about to bring this up.
No, but
did you watch the opening?
Yeah.
So I watched just the opening scene on Sunday for season 2, and like the action was great in that opening sequence.
It just looks really dumb.
And I'm like, your guys is talking about this is like, maybe I should watch Into the Badlands instead of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Maybe. I just, if the plot was great and the action was mediocre, then I can forgive that too.
Yeah.
But 4 episodes in, there's just nothing to care about. So, I mean, does it get better?
So,
I do think the show gets better, but for a guy that's a master, he sure gets his ass kicked a little bit.
So I have to ask this just because it's one of my great disappointments 6 episodes in.
Yeah.
Do they ever get to the actual mythology around Iron Fist?
I don't want to say it. I think we should talk about this next time.
Okay.
So there was
Yes
some
or no?
there
How
was
about
some
that? Yes or no? They do keep giving you more hints.
The scenes of him sitting on top of the mountain meditating is like some of the worst green
CG.
screen I've seen in CG I've seen in a while. So
Yeah.
I don't even want to see him go to Kunlun at this point.
Well, I don't necessarily want that, but there's a lot of legacy and stuff to being the Iron Fist that they have solidified in comics.
Well, especially in the more recent, like the Iron
Yeah.
Weapons, the whole.
But if you are interested in Iron Fist 1 comes out this week.
Yeah, sure, talk more about it.
Talking about legacy, they do hint that there's other Iron Fists before him, which was kind of cool.
Well, yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
I've had that
It's kind of
once.
like
The line's been dropped once at this point.
and
but
it is kind of an Ant-Man moment. It's kind of cool that they hint at that stuff.
Yeah, what's it? 5 weapons? Is that the
I think
group
it's
of
5
all the other
5 weapons. Yeah.
warriors? So
Yeah, Arrow. Lemire did a similar thing with Arrow.
Yeah, they should have just set this whole show up like Mortal Kombat the movie or something like that, and
Yeah.
just had Iron Fist participating in a.
That one episode that Charlie just watched was kind of that one.
like that.
Yeah.
well, very loosely.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's kind of that one, like, oh yeah, now it's happening. Yeah. Look, take my gripes away about the Asian culture shrink, which I think is like a doctor watching a medical show, right? Take the stuff about the action away, which some people may not even notice. Look, it's quite possible, like a lot of people go, no, the action is fucking great. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry. Yeah.
4 episodes in, and it does not blowing me away.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't. But, some folks might like it. Some folks might not be using it. They might really enjoy it. So I don't want to take away from that. Take that aside, it's an interesting show. And then I'm not saying that to be negative or positive. I'm saying it has qualities in the shows I really do care about. I actually really like the Meacham family. They're very interesting to me. The son and daughter are in this really gray area where I kind of enjoy it. They're not bad. They're not good. They do things for themselves. Sometimes they do things for others for some other reasons. And I thought that was kind of a nice take. They're not bad guys. They're not good guys. They're kind of like there and they have their reasons. So I kind of enjoyed that. The Meacham dad is interesting. Madame Gao has very interesting scenes. So, there's some really good qualities in the show. I actually really enjoy Danny Rand coming back from his 15 years? 15 years in Kowloon. If you're 15 years in this Kowloon thing and, your outlook in life and the way you act is differently. So him being kind of naive and innocent, going, hey, I can just see the fucking bus. I kind of think that's accurate. Some people think he's dumb. I actually think this is more accurate way of portraying his character after a guy that hasn't been really in real society for 15 years.
See, that didn't bother me. The stuff around his ability to prove his identity bothered me.
Yeah. Wait, did you... I think you already got to that part, no?
I've already got to how they resolved that in the end.
Yeah.
But it should not have been that hard.
Yeah. That took forever, that storyline. That should have been probably... See how we always talk about these shows should be maybe 4 episodes shorter? That's your 4 episodes right there. That shouldn't have been stretched that long.
Well, it's the whole idea of, all we have to do is...
You're talking about the fingerprint thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even prior to that, just the whole, how are we going to prove your identity? If there's any Rands at all, yes, his parents died. They may have been the last Rands, but if they ever had parents that were buried anywhere, there are very easy ways.
Or if they ever given blood.
Yeah. But this whole, we can just cast doubt and make it so we can't even prove who he is was such bullshit.
It was kind of a weird, strung out storyline. People ask me where I stand with the show, and since I already finished it, this is how I compare him. Daredevil is hard because I love Daredevil. I love his books. I always been Daredevil fan. I love Punisher. For me, Daredevil is the top of the Netflix series, right? Most people like Jessica Jones. I love Luke Cage. I mean, the vibe, the culture, the music, The look of it, I'm sorry, that goes, right next to Daredevil for me. Even though Daredevil's my character, Luke Cage has its own voice and look in the show. So it's really Jessica Jones versus Iron Fist. So between the two, I think Jessica Jones has actually a better story. So out of the four, I'm sorry, I do think Iron Fist is the bottom of the litter. That's not saying it sucks, though. I'm just saying out of the four, it's probably the bottom one. But there's enough interesting things in there. I do really enjoy the show. So in a day and age where we go, is it good or bad? I really do think this is somewhere in the middle. Yeah. I think that's my summary. And I think this show uses its 13 episodes maybe a little better because it kind of does the boring episodes in the first 4. So if you survive those 4, you're good to go.
Okay.
Because as opposed to Luke Cage, the kind of the little downfall is towards the end.
Yeah.
This one's maybe in the beginning. But the problem with that is you get a lot of people go, what the fuck? Fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to bother with this shit. So
That's a concern.
Yeah.
That's a concern for sure. Well, I'm going to finish it. We'll talk about, we could do maybe a little bit more spoilers down the road. So I don't even know that we even do like a full spoiler talk on Luke Cage. I feel like we skipped it
because he hated on that.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't have anything else to really say. I thought
he hated it.
I thought the first half was great, and the second half was just. When it falls like that,
I didn't fall. Look, I don't agree with you. Look, it's not as cool as the beginning, but I don't think it's as bad as you say it is.
So to me, and this is one of those general statements, but watching Luke Cage, I was able to go, this is a Toby show. Like, Toby's going to like this.
Yeah.
And watching Jessica Jones is way up there for me, where I understand why it's not for other people.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, that's fine,
One thing Netflix is doing very, very well is, for the most part, these shows tonally feel different.
Yeah, and I think they should, because otherwise it gets boring.
Going to appeal to the same audience, which is good.
Yeah. Because
it means a better podcasters. We're all yelling which is better than which, but
makes for good radio.
Yeah.
All right, we got some questions here. Let's do that before we wrap up. I got a bunch on Twitter. You can always send those to me, Ryan Higgins Ryan, on Twitter before the episode. We record Monday nights, Tuesday nights, sorry. So send those over.
We'll send it on Monday anyway.
Send it on Monday too, sure. I'll usually still read them. Let's see. Let's get to one. This is from Bennett. He says, if you could get any character from a comic to have their own musical episode, who would you choose? Now, very appropriate, because tonight is the Flash Supergirl musical episode.
The Glee alumni.
Yeah, so because of Zelda, I have been really behind on my TV shows the last few weeks. However, I'm going to try to make an effort to catch up on all the shows this week, so hopefully I get the chance to watch that Supergirl Flash crossover. I'll try to watch that this week. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't think you get any better than the Batman Zatanna. Was it Batman Zatanna and who was it on the animated series?
Are you talking about the
Cersei?
Right?
No.
You're talking about the Justice League on the episode.
Yeah, where Batman sings. It's
when
Zatanna
Wonder Woman got turned into
Wonder
a pig.
Woman, sorry, and Cersei,
that was a fucking genius episode.
Yeah, that's a great episode. I mean, Batman singing. Batman is the answer, because Batman to get a musical episode is incredible.
I did like the Batman the Brave and the Bold Music Meister episode.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm going to not look tonight. I don't want to see what anyone says about this episode.
I would enjoy seeing a musical episode on Asgard. Absolutely. With all them Vikings, those gods, I think it would be lovely.
That'd be funny. Brock, another. Do you like music?
I mean, again, it's really, what's the, what are we gonna, what is the vibe you're gonna get from a Batman musical? What's the vibe you're gonna get from
It's funny.
Right. The thing is what do you take it serious? Do you take it funny?
No, you can never take it serious.
Yeah, I was about to say the whole idea of doing a musical anything is
fun.
Is just fun and lighthearted and funny.
There's different tones and moods. I think seeing a Suicide Squad musical would be hilarious.
Do it with Harley.
Huh?
You could do that with Harley.
Yeah.
Bennett also says, never stop loving...
Wait. We'd still have to have pie in that one, though.
Of course. Bennett says, never stop loving Nintendo and DC. Trust me, I won't. I will always love Nintendo and DC. Whoa, music.
Sorry, I was turning off the basketball. It's over.
It's over.
Right.
Who won?
I don't know. I started my Iron Fist rant. I have no idea who won.
I saw the Warriors scored 114, I believe.
Well, better.
So I'm assuming they won.
Hopefully, they should.
Jonathan asks, of the 7 Earth Green Lanterns, Alan Scott, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Kyle... Wow, I just completely blanked on Kyle Rayner. Wow, I just completely blanked on Kyle Rayner's last name.
Kyle West.
Simon Baz, Jessica Cruz. Who is the best uniform? Good question.
Best uniform.
I mean, Hal, because that's just the uniform. It's the classic uniform, especially the Ethan Van Sciver redone during during Green Lantern Rebirth with the pop out. Like it's just, I just don't think you get better than that. It's like it's one of the most iconic costumes in comics. Although I do love Guy Gardner's like warrior outfit with like the leather jacket. They brought that back recently too.
Yeah, that issue was brutal.
Are you a fan of Crab Mask?
Hal is definitely my most sort of go-to, even though I did really like when he went parallax.
Oh, sure.
Like that outfit I really like too.
With the long cape?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with a weird long cape with big shoulder.
Yeah. Yeah, those giant shoulder pads.
No, I think Jon Stewart has pretty much a solid uniform.
I will say this. I like the sort of over the eye with Jessica Cruz. Yeah. Like that's kind of working for me.
Over the eye.
Yeah, she's got a good costume too.
Yeah. Well, I think what it is the costumes really fit the characters. Like they really kind of you see their personalities in the costumes more so than some of the other core members. So, and I think that's where it comes from. And your preference will probably be again, like Tony said, or like Toby said, with the tone of the Netflix shows. It's like it just depends on what you like the most.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle's mask was just too big.
That crab mask, really people love it though. It's back.
No spoilers. I don't mind it, but it's just big.
Yeah. Stefano asks, he listened to the Mayo Comics Report podcast. That's where they talk about all the sales charts. Which actually, I should start listening to that more often. It says, heavily felt that the digital subscriptions ran by publishers was the future of Marvel and DC. He asks, are subscriptions a healthy part of the comic industry, and how does it affect our store? So by the digital subscriptions, I wonder if he means like the Marvel Unlimited, because I definitely there's talk of DC doing something very similar.
Yeah, Image has the Image Unlimited through Comixology.
That's the Comixology. That's Comixology's own thing that Image is a part of.
Yeah, and
which you can sign up for at digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, and we get a nice cut every time you sign up for it.
So if you're looking to try a bunch of different things, I think that's a great service. But it kind of feels like a lot of the Amazon Prime stuff to me, where it's like, we'll give you the first season or the first 2 seasons for free. But as soon as you're hooked, you have to, because I noticed that like they'll have like the first 2 Hellboy trades up there.
Yep.
And then you'd have to buy like 3 and up and stuff like that.
With Marvel Unlimited, it's nothing that's newer than 6 months. And while they have a lot of old stuff, there are huge gaps and tons of missing stuff. And I mean, it's not like every Marvel comic ever published. It's not complete in any way, shape, or form. So, if you are okay not being current, yeah, sure, pay your $100 a month and do that. But part of comic books,
$100 a month
or $100 a year, I mean.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sorry, $100 a year.
That's steep.
Part of comic books, though, is the conversation, the current conversation. Mm-hmm. If you want to be part of that Wednesday or Tuesday conversation, because everything gets spoiled, if you want to be on the forums, assuming you're doing this legally, not illegally downloading comics, being there day and date is pretty important. So if you're very casual in comics and you don't even spend $100 a year, then yeah, something like Marvel Unlimited or whatever the DC one or the Comixology one is probably a great way to keep up on stuff. I assume their hope is you like it enough to start buying stuff on a regular basis. Yeah. As far as subscriptions in the store, they are the most important part of our store. Yeah. Books live and die on them. If a sub orders something, I'll order extra usually because it gives me a little bit of incentive. I have tons of books that I sell 1 or 0 shelf copies of, but I have a lot of subscribers for. There's always been cases like that. Endless times people have said, "Oh, don't you carry this?" And I said, "Yeah, for subscribers. Do you want to sign up for it?" No. Okay. Then I'm not going to get in it, because that pretty much confirmed purchase. It means so much to a comic book store, more so than a lot of other retail chains. Although more retail chains are doing pre-orders and special orders way more often, because it is very expensive to carry a product in store. We do carry a lot, but not like we used to. It's just that's just not the way. You can't survive that way. Product's very expensive. So, subscriptions are. And some stores don't do it, and that's no problem. If you don't do it, you don't do it. If it works without it, then more power to you. I don't know how, but that's awesome. I don't know how the hell you figure out what to order without subscribers. But no, I mean, for us, it's integral. It's absolutely one of the most important.
Most of the stores that I've been to around here, the subscription is what kind of the store bases their sales off of. It's how well is this book going to do based on how many people want it, before it's even out. So,
let's take Batwoman for an example. So when Batwoman comes out, it's by the same creative team as Detective Comics. It's a spin-off of Detective Comics. Now, I have 35 subscribers or something to Detective. So what I do for Batwoman, especially because it's returnable, I go ahead and I order based off my Detective numbers. Yeah. I give 35 copies of number 1 to those 35 subscribers and say, hey, you buy you buy Detective Comics. Here's a spin-off series featuring the same characters, same creators. Do you want to pick this up? And while, good, maybe 20% or so decline it, 80% take it.
Yeah.
So I can move 30 copies, 28 copies right off the bat of Batwoman. And that blows most comic sales out of the water because it has a strong attach to a previous title. That those are guaranteed sales. Now, let's say they launch something like, Blue Beetle. That's coming in just cold because there's no series to attach that to. So I have to get people to naturally subscribe to that book. Again, they do something like Batman, All-Star Batman. That's easy for me to go to my subscribers and say, hey, I have 60 people that get Batman. Do you guys also want All-Star? And the majority will take it. X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, things like that. Again, very easy to do that. That's why you launch something like Unstoppable Wasp. It's real tough for me to get guaranteed sales in that title.
Mosaic,
sure, all the new stuff Marvel had. So, simply calling a title the same thing or spitting it out of something gives stores some way to pull their regular customers and figure out if they will take them.
And just to sort of preface this a little bit, just because you could talk about the Wasp spinning out of the current Avengers, just because a character spins off doesn't mean it's a natural transition over.
Correct. If that was the Wasp by Mark Waid with an artist, then that's a different story, right? Because that would. But to me, it's like a completely different book, a completely different character. There is no reason to suggest those books to those people because they are not buying Avengers because she was in that story.
The thing is you got Star-Lord, Thanos, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon,
I did at first. I did give all those books to people that got Guardians, and at this point, the vast majority have dropped them. But I did have a lot of subscribers to Star-Lord for a couple issues. But because we've gone from Star-Lord to Star-Lord to Star-Lord, there is no continued buy-in.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They don't want to go in on the second one because you said if 80% of the people keep it, that's great. But look, they're renumbering. Only 80% of those people are going to take it.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was something like 20% of those people took it. Yeah, every time that happened. So
I was trying to be nice with the
numbers are rough. Let's see. Tom asks, and it's actually very appropriate to what we were just talking about. Has DC put any Rebirth books on the chopping block yet? If not, when do you think they'll start cycling books out? So there was a rumor that Superwoman may be ending at issue 12, which seems likely, especially given the current story arc going on in Superman and Action Comics right now.
The Superman Reborn stuff.
Yeah, I do feel like I don't quite know how they continue Superwoman, given the events of the comic to come out tomorrow that I won't spoil, but you can be spoiled all online if you want on the internet.
So I haven't been spoiled, but I mean, in any event. I've kind of felt for a while now that story wasn't necessarily intended to go on forever either.
Right.
Like it felt very.
It felt not
felt finite,
well. It didn't feel like it fit into the 6-issue trade paperback format. It felt like it was a bigger, like, contained collection.
I just don't think it feels like it fits in with the rest of the titles being published by New 52. I feel like it's
Rebirth.
Rebirth. I mean, yeah, it's sort of its own little continuity.
Isn't Blue Beetle on the chopping block?
Well, no, nothing is officially in the chopping block. This rumor about Superwoman being canceled is based on the trade paperback solicitations. Sales-wise, I would assume New Superman, Blue Beetle, and Cyborg are not long for this comic Earth. I just don't see those titles lasting very long. They could, right? I mean, they could keep them around as long as they want. Jonah Hex survived for 60 years on not great sales. So if
They're not horrible sales either.
they're pretty rough.
I don't care. That was a good comic.
Yeah, the Jonah.
Hey, I love Jonah Hex, but sales are sales, right?
All-Star Western was good too.
I can't see those books going on for too long, especially with if we are getting JSA, Legion, and a few other big titles coming up. There's gonna need to be about 3 or 4. JSA and Legion, if they launch those bi-monthly, Superwoman, Cyborg, Blue Beetle, and New Superman are gone.
Well, the thing is,
Are you current on the Justice League book?
I haven't read just the most recent one, 17 or 18 or whatever.
The timeless
stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen all the stuff with Brainiac 5 and
Yeah.
the Brainiacs or whatever they are.
Yeah.
It's unclear.
well, the thing is, DC's at least since New 52, and they've been very good at cycling out and cycling in.
Well,
Not necessarily it working.
Marvel and New 52 did it because there was a bunch of crap titles. Rebirth is not really. None of these books have been axed out of the blue after 5 issues. I mean, DC and Marvel have both done that. Marvel has done that a lot recently. So I actually appreciate that DC is willing to give these things let them go the distance.
Well, it's their rotation. They're not like, oh, we're going to tack on more titles. They finish stuff or stop stuff and then bring something else in.
Yeah.
Like Earth 2 Society is finally done, but they didn't go, oh, well, Rebirth's happening, so we're going to axe this. They just let it.
They let it end.
Yeah.
It's funny you mention Earth 2 Society because Indigator asks, what is going on with Earth 2 Society? Is that still New 52 continuity? I am so far back on that book. I haven't read it.
It's separate. It's completely separate. Ever since
Future's End.
Future's End, it's its own thing.
Yeah, it was always an alternate world. It wasn't.
It's another.
But it finally ended, right?
It's fine. Yeah, it's done.
Okay.
Yeah, it's done. I finished reading it. I took the pictures. I'm going to sell my set on eBay.
Every issue that would come out, me and Brock would look at each other. We're like, "This is the last issue, right? Clearly, this can't keep going."
The funniest part
This
is
is
you
over,
kept
right?
ordering them, but it's just it was just so like.
Well, here's a perfect example. I have 13 subscribers to Earth 2 and sells 0 shelf copies, and that was the case for the last year of that title, right?
Yeah, because you missed getting me a couple because you forgot.
Yeah, I forgot you get it too. Yeah. So I just I assume it won't really be connected to the JSA relaunch and everything.
No. It was an okay series.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point the JSA relaunch crosses over with it.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, Toby. Before you go away, real quick, I'm going to ask you one quick question, but you may say no. So, this is from Brandon. He says, "Anyone on the podcast reading the current Darkwing Duck comic? Did you read any of that yet?"
Current, no.
Okay, you can go do whatever you're doing.
No, I
actually
read
just dug up the trade the other day. That nice fiction
Of the old stuff?
Yeah, that's the older stuff now, not
Boom.
the Joe's books.
Yeah, the Boom Studio stuff. Yeah.
I mean, the Boom Studio stuff was great, and I read at least the first issue of the new stuff, and it was still good, but I realized I was willing to wait for the trades on that because, like, with the previous series, I bought all the trades, and then they put out a nice thick trade, and then, so now, but they haven't collected any trades of the new stuff yet,
not
right?
yet, no.
Yeah.
Joe Books is doing a lot of good stuff.
Except releasing everything all at freaking once.
Well, they're slow to release. Every book is way behind what the schedule should be.
Well, it's like this week.
But
it's Disney Pixar Cars. It's Disney Frozen. Is like Disney Princess. So like, geez, 3 titles in 1 week. Normally, I could spread these out.
Yeah,
Well,
indie publishers do that a lot.
If their agreements similar to the old slave labor agreement with Disney, I know there was always a weird sort of lag on getting permission to put out the issues, so it's possible that Disney just finally sent a bunch of permissions and they're like, we can finally get these out.
Yeah. All right, one last question here from Problematic Cartoon. He asks, I'm extra hyped for Secret Empire. Based on your preview, is that warranted? I never said I got a preview copy of Secret Empire, but I got a preview copy of Secret Empire number 0. I did get a chance to read it. No spoilers. I mean...
What you told me was...
It's pretty good first issue.
What you told me is, if you are not reading Captain America, you're going to be, what the hell? If you've been reading Captain America, you'll be like, okay.
Oh, I'm sure if you've been reading Captain America... You'll like it. If you're enjoying Captain America, you will probably love this comic.
Hold on. If you're enjoying Steve Rogers' Captain
I think
America.
both. I mean, it's the same stuff. I have not read Cap since issue 2, so I have this current series, so I have no context.
The Spencer stuff isn't. It's not bad. It had a really rough start, but it's gotten better.
Hashtag not my captain. So I came into this knowing nothing. I mean, I know the story of Secret Empire, that Captain America is secretly a Hydra agent, and due to
I thought you were going to spoiler free.
This is the plot. This is the plot of Secret Empire. Due to Kobik, the New 52
New 52 of the Marvel U.
Where the hell is she? She's the Cosmic Cube given
embodiment.
Yeah, given human form. Controlled by the Red Skull, has altered history, so Captain America has secretly been a Hydra agent this whole time. No, trust me, the real Cap will be back at the end of this. Don't worry about it. So, with that little knowledge and the information provided, and reading the comic, I mean, that 0 issue is not like some bullshit recap either. It actually is the event. It's stupid that it says 0 on it.
Is this the free comic book day one?
No, this is just the straight 0 issue. Oh. So it's not out for about a month. But it was pretty good.
Are you going to bump your orders?
Here's the thing. No, probably not, because
your cap numbers are low.
The cap numbers are very low, and
Civil War towards the end.
Our Civil War numbers were awful towards the end. I mean, they were still high for a lot of compared to most Marvel books, but they were bad for an event book. And at triple shipping and at $5 an issue, or four to five. I think the first issue is $4.99. And I mean, people are so over the Marvel crossovers at this point. Good or not, I think people just aren't going to be interested in this. And there's a lot of internet hate for it. There's a lot of people that don't like this take on Cap, even though it's an alternate reality thing. But it's in the regular universe. But it was a pretty intriguing first issue.
0-ish.
It's the first issue. It is boy that escalated quickly .gif the comic, right? Because it's suddenly like again, maybe this is in the Captain America comic, but the example I can use is Countdown to Infinite Crisis, where they had the 4 miniseries that were all part of the countdown to Infinite Crisis.
That was supposed to lead up to it and bring in, and then
so you had the Days of Vengeance,
OMAC, Villains United,
and
OMAC, and
what's the fourth one?
Was it the Ryan
Thanagar War? Yeah. So imagine if all of those plus Countdown to Infinite Crisis, which was 80 pages, was shoved into a 40-page comic.
Oh fuck!
So it's like, okay, well, fuck, this is the worst day in the Marvel Universe. What the hell?
So it's a much better Monsters Unleashed?
Sure, I guess.
They tried to shove a shit ton in that book and failed.
Didn't even bother. So, I mean, it's okay. I was pleasantly surprised by the 0 issue.
Well,
and spoilers will be all over the internet, I'm sure, in a few days. I know. I'm not going to spoil it.
Because there is some interest. It's because there is some interest on your end. Will you bump your orders because you'll probably talk about it a little bit more, or maybe recommend it a little bit more?
I mean, when I have 9 subscribers for a Captain America comic, that's who's getting Secret Empire number 0. I can't expect I'm going to sell too many copies. I mean, I will.
Is Bryce getting Captain America?
I don't I don't think so.
Then you can get at least one more because I'm sure he will.
It's an event, yeah.
It's an event.
Well, no, I mean, again, I ordered a fairly high amount compared to my average Marvel order at this point. It's under Secret Wars, or it's under Civil War 2 where it ended. It's not, I'm not ordering 5 copies or something stupid. It is a respectable order for a 3 times a month book, right? If you add those numbers all up, it is definitely a respectable number. But I feel like we are just in that phase still where people are going to look at another major Marvel event and just be like, nope, hard pass. Doesn't matter if it's good. Doesn't matter what it's about. It's too much too soon, which at least the first issue is good. Maybe I'll be sitting here in a few weeks being like, holy shit, we sold out and people are clamoring.
You weren't even going to do pre-orders for it.
Well, no, because we've done a lot of pre-orders for the event comic packs and by the end of Secret Wars, I had 0. Yeah. So I just said I'm skipping Secret Empire entirely.
And the thing is the problem was especially with Marvel's delays and all that stuff.
It was a nightmare.
I remember trying to get out Secret Wars stuff.
It was a fucking nightmare.
Secret Wars stuff was Brock, you can send this out because we're not going to get this issue. I'll send it out next month. And it was like, it was already delayed 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was such the shipping on Secret Wars really dissuaded me from wanting to ship these big major events. But we did with Rebirth and it was fine.
You didn't do Civil War.
No, I didn't do so. I didn't have any pre-orders for them. Yeah. I had like 1 for the first month or something like that, and that was it. Like I had no online. I put them up and nothing. I would have done it for the X-Men stuff, but the variants are all over the place. I can't guarantee them. Fingers crossed. We don't have the numbers yet, but I'm hoping this Mary Jane cover month coming up that we actually will be able to qualify for everything and put those up for pre-order. We've cooled off considerably on the hip hops and the Scotty Youngs. We just the way they were doing them is cycled out, so there's no easy way for me to pre-sell sets anymore, and we aren't qualifying to hit most of them anyway. So I'm not even bothering with those. But if they do these month-long variant, if they hit those incentives of a reasonable number, we can get those. So if you do like those, we should have those up on our site. Got to give it a week or two. I got to get the official solicitation info to know if we can do it. But I have up I'm still taking pre-orders on the Flash Batman Button crossover, which there was a slight price increase. If you've already put your order in for the complete set, you get it at the cheaper price. I'm not going to charge you more, but there was a slight price increase because there's actually 4 covers, not 3. 4 covers for the first 2 parts, which is a change. So that's up there. If it's a couple bucks more, it's not too much more expensive, but that's up there. So yeah, I don't know. Secret Empire, it's not the worst. Yeah, I don't know. I've read a bunch worse. So. All right, the Korean people next door are getting loud and drinking a lot, it sounds like. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Guys, thank you very much for being on this wonderful episode, Brock. I know you get a jet, so say goodbye,
Later.
Brock.
Bye, guys.
No, Brock, say goodbye, Brock.
Goodbye, Ryan.
Brock, say goodbye, Brock.
Goodbye, Brock.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, whatever.
Albert Soy, we want to thank him. Plant Everywhere. It's an app on iTunes. Check that out. Albert's been a busy man. He's going to come by the store more often. He's going to bring his Switch here. Going to play some Zelda with him. It's so good. Albert. We got to thank Julian Titus at the Nerds That Love Pants podcast at pixelbit.com. Make sure you check that out. Toby? No pants. I don't know if you could hear that, but Toby said no pants. Ryan Hess has a Preach podcast at soundcloud.com/Preach podcast. Make sure you listen to that. We all love that. We all love our good friend Ryan Hess. He's awesome. Jody Lawson is Ken and the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudio.com. Check out those comics on there. You can order some stuff from them. Also, Manoa Place, Sam Che, Talon Bray, and Craig Anderson. Thanks to all our high-tier backers on Patreon. That's what all those guys are if you want to be on that list. Or our big monthly list of all our $5 and up backers. That is patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Every little bit helps us, get a little money here to pay for our hosting, pay for some new podcast equipment, pay for some new microphones because we're going to be doing some at-home recording. I'm picking up probably a Blue Yeti pretty soon to do some stuff over the remote calls that we're going to be doing a little more regularly, especially with Geekbox.
Not with the Comic Conspiracy.
Well, maybe we'll have to have some special guests on.
Yeah, like we're going to do that.
Yeah, I can. I'll get some people on. Don't worry. You never know. ComicConspiracyPodcast.com, Geekbox.net, and iTunes is where you can find this episode and all our previous episodes. Rate and review us as well. Thank you very much. The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net or that contact form at Geekbox.net. A little long form question you can send us there. A little, if it's longer than 140 characters, it's more helpful. Patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. Again, that's where you can go to donate some money to us for this podcast. We love everyone on there, even if it's just $1 a month. We love those guys a ton because they're doing $1 a month and they get some extra Bryce Brieflies. They get some roundups from Toby and Charlie. Ahem.
Not Charlie's.
Ahem. You owe the patrons.
It's my fault, not Charlie's. I'll be honest about it.
You owe the patrons a roundup. Let's do this.
Actually, due for 2 more at this point.
You know, I open like 5. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's our digital storefront where you can go and buy some digital comics from us and read on your iPad or on your phone or tablet or whatever you have, or on your computer as well. Conspiratorrock.com, that's Brock's blog and video pull list. Wanders in the Fourth Dimension, that's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art, that is my wife Leanne, that is her Etsy store where you can buy some awesome prints, get some commissions. She does a lot of stuff on there, it's really good. Always shipping stuff out to people that buy stuff from Etsy.com from her. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, that's me. I'm on Twitter. Brock is Brock Sager. Larson, Bryce, that's Bryce Larson. I think he's going to be back next week. Toby's Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Add us all, please. Follow us. Do questions Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at Ryan Higgins. Ryan, send us a question for the podcast on there. If it's 140 characters. Geekbox Comedy Button, Good Job Brian, All Talk Podcast, and Manga Machinations. Those are other podcasts on our little network. Make sure you go listen to all those as well. And, give us a little rate and review us, and it's all good. So, thank you guys very much. We'll be back next week for episode 303.